I am truly honored to be able to respond to this remarkable contribution to LDS dialogue of women's role in the church. Long overdue, and it comes out in a very timely fashion. I just think it's going to start all kinds of conversations. Just quickly, background, Brad asked me to read a digital copy of this and review it just as I was taking off for a 2-week vacation, and I wasn't able to download it until the flight home. I thought, and it was due the review was due the next day. I thought I would see what I could do on it on the flight home. I picked it up, started reading, and I could not put it down. I know Nylan. I'm a fan of Nylan's. I knew it would be good, but I was unprepared for just how good it is. It is smart. It is bold. It is faithful, very articulate and authentic, but it is also very practical. One thing I think it is so remarkable of what she's done, and it's quite unique in the sense that she has listened, and listened over a long period of time to a large cross-section of members of the church. Women with all different kinds of perspectives and feelings about their role in the church, priesthood leaders, and their different experiences and expectations for women's role. She hasn't censured, she hasn't preached, she's listened. And just from one of those women in the church, not that I gave her my feedback, but as a woman in the church, I could just say, that doesn't happen very often, or not much in my experience. And so for just that, I say, thank you, Nylan, for listening and not jumping to conclusions before you hear people, women and men, throughout the church, all around the world. Second, without trying to change any current church structure, she has looked at where we are right now in the church. She highlights what's in the handbook of instruction and what we have by way of history in the church, and starts opening up my mind, and I think anyone who reads this, what the possibilities are for expanding the viable contributions and visibility of LDS women in public ways in the church. I think very often we hear of the contributions and the need and the power of women in Relief Society. And as we lead Relief Society and all the women of the church, we hear about what the place and the power of women in the temple. But by and large, the world doesn't see women in those places. I couldn't help but think about Nylan's book just in my ward on Sunday, and I think this was unusual for my ward. But I looked in the sacrament meeting in my ward, and with the exception of the chorister and the organist, everyone else who participated in every single way was a man. And it just happened to be that way, but I thought if I was visiting and trying to hear what we as Latter-day Saints, and when I try to say, we women have power in the church, and you came to my word on Sunday, it might not be so clear. And I think there's something about Nylan's book that would help those who organize every sacrament meeting to ask the question, where are the women? And what are they doing? I loved Nylan's contributions. They are specific suggestions of what women could do. And it's just been a couple of weeks, but I've already started trying to implement them. You know, I'm the Laurel advisor in my ward, but I watch as our young men in my ward pass the sacrament and prepare the sacrament and pass the microphone around on Fast Sunday. I also see them as they're at the door greeting people and handing out programs. So after reading this book, Nyla makes this suggestion: why couldn't young women greet people for sacrament meeting and hand out the programs? Young men are dashing around all over, and the young women come in, and they sit and they watch. So I talked to my Laurels, what do you think? Would you like to do that? Oh, they looked up like, what a novel idea. Yeah. So I mentioned it to the young women president. She wasn't quite as enthused about it as I was. So I didn't let it sit there. I ran into one of the counselors of the bishopric and I said, hey, what do you think? And he said, we're always scrambling. That's a good idea. Now, I don't know what's happened yet, but I'm going to follow through on it. She mentioned some other things that I'm telling you, I have never seen a woman participate in any way in a baby blessing. She gave some ideas that I'm thinking, wait a minute, it's so easy to think about the way traditionally we have done things. How often, I didn't know, but I've talked to people, how often mothers come and sit with their baby in the center of the circle while the baby is being blessed. Why not? Why not? And a score of other wonderful opportunities. I think one of the geniuses of Nyland's approach, she encourages priesthood leaders and women to together discover solutions and find ways of more fully appreciating the talents, contributions, and voices of every member of every congregation. Most of all, as I read this book, I, as an LDS woman, felt heard and understood and represented. I can't help but think that every woman in the church, no matter what their backgrounds, would feel the same. It will do much to help heal some of the divisions that I have sensed occurring between women, LDS women. I've heard way too many LDS women say, oh, those women who want the priesthood, what are they thinking? And not hearing where the pain is, where they have felt marginalized. This book can help those who haven't had those questions and felt that pain to hear and understand and sympathize, even though they may not empathize completely with what they have felt. I celebrate Nyland's courage, her boldness. Thank you so much. It's the beginning of great conversations, and I truly believe changes that will occur for the betterment of men and women and children in the LDS faith. Thank you.